On today's episode of The Back of the Bird, just Danny and I today. Paulie's getting ready to play tonight in his fifth appearance in the NLL Finals. Good luck to Paulie, our boy, and it should be a great series between the Buffalo Bandits and the Saskatchewan Rush. We preview that series a little bit, talk a little bit more tactics than we normally do, chat about the league awards, which just got announced, including some live reactions to ones that got announced while we were chatting. And then a little bit of follow-up on why the best guys score a lot more now than they used to. We talked about in the last episode, did a little bit of follow-up, catch up on Danny's Costa Rica trip, and just some news and notes around the lacrosse world. Let's get right into it. Episode 137 of The Back of the Bird.
Take your first ride and run, baby, run. If you want a sign, this is it. You're mad, you're magic, you're as hot as a gun. You wanna play with fire, consider this. You'll chase the thrill if it's worth the hit, cause you never ever wanna work for it. Take your first ride and run, baby, run. You got a spine of steel and a...
Okay, we're back after a little bit of a break here. Schedule mishaps and whatnot, and then a co-host of ours deciding to go make the finals again. But this is episode 138 of Back of the Bird, presented by Cottage Springs. This is, I don't know if I've ever seen a better Cottage Springs day in my life. Recording this on Friday afternoon, it's whatever, mid-20s outside. Everybody's living, everybody's smiling, everybody's heading down to the park in the city to go enjoy themselves. So happy long weekend to all of our listeners. I don't know when this is going to come out, but yeah, we're gonna jump back into it because as we record this, we're rolling into the start of the NLL Finals. So we figured what better time to pick up our lacrosse-based podcasts as we approach the finale of the season here. So we'll kind of jump into it. Donnie, what's going on with you, man?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm hoping this comes out like basically right after this. So I'm hoping this is out this afternoon. So ideally, folks might not have time to listen to this before game one, but we are going to talk a little bit about the NLL Finals. And boy, it's crazy. Paulie's going back again. Like it really is. Feels like kind of deja vu.
Yeah,
I think this is his fifth trip to the finals, as far as I know. So what an accomplishment that is, because he won 2 with Roch.
Yeah.
Lost 1 with Roch, and then now has been to 2 with Buffalo. So crazy accomplishments there. This is Matt Vince's 10th. We'll get into that. That's just fucking absurd.
What a stat.
Yeah, I think he's won 5 and lost 4. So crazy. And but yeah, I'm good. Obviously had a couple weeks off here since the end of Desert Dog season. Been good. Just trying to get back in the gym, get healthy, and get ready to go because I go to PLL a week today. So it's a quick turnaround, and I'm really excited for it. I really enjoy playing in the PLL. There's a lot of MSL retirements this year, and a lot of really awful takes going around on Twitter based on that. I love playing in the PLL. I'm excited to play in the PLL. I'm excited for the guys who want to play in the MSL to do that. It's you only get one career, and there's a lot of terrible takes out there. I'm fucking fired up for another tour with the Cannons and to be back after a missed year for me last year. So yeah, that's it for me.
Cool, man. I guess on that note, quickly, like I agree, it's stupid. Like all the back and forth on it and stuff. It's like, I mean, it's to me, it's very clear that there's, you want to play, if you can play at the top level of a sport, you want to play in the PLL and do that. And then, but, it's almost like it's kind of, you're just basically plucking out these super skilled box guys that are also at an age where they've got families or they're married and they're done with the travel thing. And they're also getting a boatload of money to do it. So it's like, for a guy like you in the situation you're in, it's like, I don't know where else you'd rather be than playing in the PLL and doing that, right? It's like you don't have that, you don't have to explain to a wife or whatever right now that you're gone every weekend all year round. And that can get draining. So again, yeah, the people online, whatever. I forget the guy's name, but he was I was going back and forth with him when I had a pina colada in my hand when I was down in Costa Rica. And that Dox Aiken isn't playing in the PLL or whatever, and he's like, oh, rumor has he's going to. It's like,
Well, I
let's
see
not fight each
people.
other.
I see people saying the PLL is a glorified men's league because these guys retire to focus on work or to focus on the MSL. Are you fucking insane? Like, have you watched a PLL game? Have you watched a men's league game? Are you an insane person? Like,
Yeah.
the skill level is insane as it is in the NLL, and the effect that guys leaving has is that everyone in the PLL is pretty much dying to be there. And that's a good thing. That raises the level of play. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for guys who make decisions for themselves, for family. But I just think this whole like, oh, it's a terrible look for the league. Like, I don't really buy it. And anyways, that's not the subject of today's podcast. It's just something that I got onto it
cool.
because I was talking about the Cannons, but I'm a little sick of like always trashing both. It seems like we're always finding issues with the leagues. I love playing the NLL. I've had an incredible experience. I love playing in the PLL. I've had an incredible experience there. Playing pro lacrosse is pretty fun, and I want to do it as long as I can. So I get a little fed up with the negativity sometimes.
I get it too. I think it's I think at the end of the day, like, even, I said it online at one point, it's like, regardless of who's leaving to do what, if they're leaving to get more money somewhere, that at one point, hopefully that helps other guys get more money in the PLL too. Like, and it's not like they're not getting enough. Like, guys are making. We are getting paid to put a stick in our hand and play a game you love. It's like, what other, in theory, every pro sport is a glorified men's league because it's a bunch of men getting glorified playing a sport. So like, at the end of the day, like,
right. And guys retire from the NFL. Like Andrew Luck retired to focus on other things. And no one was like, this is a bad look for the NFL. And like, I understand that's not apples to apples. Like there's more guys retiring earlier from pro lacrosse to focus on other pursuits. But I'm just get sick of the like, oh, therefore it's like, no, you still have, you still have enough of the best players in the world in either league to say that it is the best players in the world. And
that's what I did. I retired to focus on podcasting. So I left way early in order to kind of really dial this in. We haven't done that.
Congrats to Paul. That's what I wanted to say. Congrats to Paulie. He's back in the NLL Finals. I'm pumped for him. If they win, we're gonna have to go back to his house. And if we lose, we'll have to go back to his house also, just off camera. We'll just sample every single Cottage Springs product. So, yeah.
But, yeah, I guess we kind of got sidetracked there. I guess since we last spoke, there's been quite a bit going on in my life.
Okay.
So took a new job with a competitor of mine. So fucking cool, really cool movie-esque feeling, just getting walked right out of the office. Had a couple weeks off, and then during those couple weeks was pondering doing a little bit of a trip, and decided after talking to a bunch of people to jet my way solo down to Costa Rica. Surprised I came back because I was down in Nasara, which is like a little beach town, learned how to surf, was a yoga guy, ice bath guy living, and it was incredible, man. The amount of people we met down there. Bunch of people from the U.S. and Canada. So two funny stories I want to tell. We were down there, and I was meeting or watching the Leaf game every other night, and met this family, and ended up meeting this guy who told me he was a lawyer. He technically didn't lie. His wife then told me he wasn't telling the full truth. He was kind of involved as a basically co-founder of the PWHL, which was really cool to talk through that. We had a lot of really cool discussion because they're in the process of expanding. So he was asking me questions about the NLL expansion draft, what I liked and like what I didn't like, or if I could make any rules I wanted, like what would I do? And it was actually really insightful, like kind of walking through that with someone, because I've never really thought about that before. Like, and we just talked about how I think it really is valuable that, you want to protect the least amount of players possible, especially if you're a sole owner league. Because if your expansion teams can be competitive, then your fans are gonna love it. So we talked through a lot of that stuff. We ended up going to a PWHL game last week, but which was again incredible experience. Billie Jean King was there. Like it was it was cool. But other funny story, and I actually forgot to tell you this, Donnie. We were at it was like a karaoke night down in Nassara, and this group came in, and like it was very clear they were there for someone's wedding. Like someone was getting married there, and I kind of went up to the one guy, and he was obviously the guy getting married. Just kind of said congrats. Asked like where they were from. He said I forget where he's from. He's an American guy, but then he's like, "Oh, what did you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I just stopped playing lacrosse. Just took a new job." And he's like, "Oh, you play lacrosse, dude?" Turns out this guy covered me for Lafayette when we played 2014.
No way.
And so we got into it, like started talking. Funny enough, he's like telling me all about. He's like, "Dude, there was a play." He's like, "I kicked you in the foot." He's like, "I felt so bad about it. Everyone still gives me a hard time. Like anytime somebody is like hungover, they send a picture of the foot kick as like because he's got a screenshot of it. But I didn't have the heart to tell him. He pulled up the screenshot, and it was just not me. He was kicking.
Oh, okay.
It was Matt Thistle, and then I texted Thistle about it. He's like, "Dude, my foot's still fucked." So, yeah, it was a lot of fun talking. I mean, again, it's just like the connections you make, and like it's crazy how like intertwined the world is because it's like, oh, I know this person, you know this person. It's like, yeah, dude, I grew up with that guy. It's like it's crazy. Really fun down there. The last part that was really cool. Little bit of like a kind of a step back moment. We're just down there. This guy's playing live music. Turns out he's from Toronto. And then he just gives us a Wheat Kings from the Tragically Hip while down in a small surf town in Nassau, and it was like, wow, this is
cool.
Is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and he sounded like Gord, so it was
wow.
Yeah. Anyways, whole trip was 10 out of 10. If anyone's thinking about doing a vacation and you don't know where you want to go, definitely recommend doing it. A lot of fun, but yeah, now and then the other thing, I attended a little Casa del Rey party back in Toronto that was put on by the Ace Beverage Group, which owns Cottage Springs as well, our lovely sponsor here. So great to catch up with the group. Saw a few of the team members, and it was kind of like a techno thing, which is definitely outside my comfort zone. You put me in a place like that, I don't know how to dance to that. So anyways, all in all, good fun. Things are good. Summer's rolling in, sun's out, people are happy. So we can probably just dive into maybe a little bit of lacrosse talk now.
Yeah, so great segue. So we are recording this Friday afternoon, and we're going to chat about the awards. And we have some breaking news, which people have already seen. MVP of the 2024-2025 season is Connor Fields, Rochester Nighthawks.
Wow, Fieldsy.
Yep. Fieldsy.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that, but it's
yeah.
You know, I thought for a little bit there he didn't, at least get some. I think it was last year, like he wasn't really included on anything for awards wise, and obviously put up quite the season. So, wow, that's
underrated no longer.
Yeah, can no longer say it.
Yeah, so. He finished third in the league in points after Dane and Josh. Pretty balanced, 46 goals, 77 assists. That is insane. I got some more notes on that, by the way. After when we're done with the awards, because we were talking recently about how guys are scoring a lot more than they used to. I did a little bit of research on that, so we'll have that after. But then,
didn't
Dyson.
Didn't he have like a million loose balls too?
He did. He had 148 loose balls, which ranks 9th in the league. And the guys ahead of him, Withers, Desnu, Curry, Boudreau, Anasio, Hope, Nardella, Hossack, and then Fields. So he's easily the highest O guy, and a lot of those guys are face-off guys ahead of him. And then the other one that we haven't seen yet is Dyson Williams going Rookie of the Year. Nice. I don't think a huge surprise there. A really good season by Dyson. Back of the Bird guests. Both those guys are back of the Bird guests, actually. Yep. And then running through the rest of the awards, they came out yesterday, so just ripping through them here. Defensive Player of the Year, Matt Hossack. I'll just stop there for a second. Hoss a beauty. He was my captain in Panther City. Another guy who I think has been criminally underrated. Can't say that anymore. But fuck that he deserved this award, and he's a great leader, great teammate. I miss him, and I'm really happy for him. Just scored the goal of the year, really, for the Rush as well. Dane Smith, Offensive Player of the Year. No big surprise there. 4th consecutive year of breaking his own assist record. I think that's just cool. Scigliano is goalie of the year, his first. Congrats to him. Speaking of first, Owen Grant, my summer teammate, transition player of the year. Jimmy Quinlan, coach of the year. Derek Keenan, GM of the year. Kyle Buchanan breaks a 6-year run from Lyle to get Sportsmanship Award of the year. Keegan Bell gets
6 years is actually wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. That's crazy.
He's got to be thinking what. Yeah.
Like and like, how do you judge the sportsmanship? I want to be in the room when they're picking this. Like, is that mean? Are you being like these guys are soft? Is this a Lady Bing Award, or is this like he's the nicest guy that plays well? Like, I don't know. I'm genuinely curious at what the sportsmanship is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Time's running out on Paulie to win that one. We'll have to see. Keegan Bell, Teammate of the Year award. As a reminder, he's the guy who put the goalie gear on and played as the backup goalie that one game when Scigliano was out. So I would, think that probably played a big role in the award. And then John Gertler gets the Borelli Award for media. He's the play-by-play guy in Buffalo. And Jason Thorne, who is the VP of Business Operations for the Vancouver Warriors, gets the off-floor executive of the year.
There we go. Well, congrats to all those guys. I mean, yeah, it's cool enough. I feel, might have been a little over a year ago. I was at my folks and standard procedure where everyone gathers and there's like a bunch of old photos and stuff you're kind of going through. I found, and I gotta take a picture of it, but I found a field lacrosse picture from what looks like novice, and it's my chubby ass running around, and it's Matt Hossack covering me. When he's playing for Oshawa with his little skinny legs running around and long pole that was like 14 times the size of him. But even then, I remember, man, he was just like, you looked at him and you thought you could just beat him, and it was just never really going to happen. He was just so good at staying in front of you. So pretty cool for a couple of brothers to win that award, man. I don't know if that's something that's happened before, but
I can't imagine it's happened before. I don't have it off the top of my head. Also, by my count, Scigliano is just the second BC goalie to win Goalie of the Year. Delbs has done it, and as far as I can tell, I'm a little bit murky on some of the older names, but I'm pretty sure they're all East Coast guys. So, credit to.
Where's our buddy Dallas from?
I thought he was from Ontario somewhere.
Oh, I don't know. He'll tell us, but.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I'll cut this out. I'll have to look that up and cut it out.
No, just keep it in. It's more of a fun conversation if we don't know what we're talking about. We're relatable, man.
Yeah, true. And then, so lots of great awards. The first and second team, all star or all NLL should be coming out here any minute. And then the all rookie team as well will be coming out. But that pretty much wraps up the awards season. I actually like how the NLL does it, kind of leading up to the finals here. It creates some good buzz throughout the week. So, it's all systems go. And tonight's Friday at Game 1, Game 2 Sunday, and then, if needed, Game 3 back in Buffalo next Saturday.
Now, what do you think? What do you think we're going to have to do here to make our Borelli Award run? Work for a team?
No, maybe. I think Paulie's got to stop slashing guys. That would help. I don't know.
But I don't know. Is there another media organization who's had a member that's played in 2 finals in a row? I don't know.
Yeah, true.
Probably not.
True.
So, but yeah, no. We're let us know what we can do.
I think you need to make more of your highlight tapes for on Twitter, like your little videos that you put together. More of those will get us.
I've been taking a break, man. Picasso doesn't paint every day. Like you got to take some time. Side note, did you know that guy was kind of alive pretty recently? I saw this on a different podcast.
Picasso?
Yeah. Did you, if you were to guess,
I think I did know. I think I did know. Maybe I'm cheating because you just put it in my head, but I think I sort of knew that. But yeah, you just assume that every famous painter was like Da Vinci, and it's like, no, these guys were alive pretty recently.
I'm gonna look this up. We can take out this little break, but yeah, dude, the guy died in 1973. What?
Wow, I wouldn't have even said that far.
No, it's crazy. Anyways, we're on tangent city here, but
Yep.
um, yeah, let's roll into the finals, man. You and I kind of talked about this. Obviously, you've got two teams that really, in theory, kind of like the game is approached two different ways, right? Like you've
Yeah.
kind of got you've got your two studs, and then pretty good supporting, obviously a great supporting cast with McKay's having himself a playoff here. But two guys that kind of carry the brunt of A, the ball, and B, the load of kind of the offensive output. And then we talked about, you look at Sask, it's like nobody really over 70 points or whatever, give or take. But they've got almost everyone in the offense is up there. They move the ball around like crazy, and their defense is just so structured. And again, like I talked about Haas when Haas was young, they're kind of an unassuming group, but they're intelligent as shit.
Yeah, they're sticky. They're sticky. Yeah,
they trust each other, and it's one of those things that you can watch a game and you can see so quickly that the offenses get frustrated because it's like, man, we just want to do this, but it's like there's always someone there, and you put a mutant like Messenger on any kind of defense too. It's like you also get the factor of getting worried your head might get completely ripped off your body. So. Yeah, it's going to be a fun matchup because if Frankie gets hot and Vino keeps playing the same way and Paulie plays second goalie and gets everyone mad on Twitter, it's going to be a fun series, man.
Yeah, I think few interesting things for like fans to watch. The one is the transition. Buffalo is really good at defensive transition, and Sask has been killing teams in transition. So I think that's something big to watch. Who's going to win that battle? I think having the messenger thing. Like Buffalo's got obviously like a really tough defense, and especially in the playoffs, when messages start to get sent, it's helpful to have at least a couple guys who can kind of at least stand in there and kind of give some of it right back. And I think Sask is really good with the scouting. Like on defense, I've noticed that when my teams have played against them, they just don't make a lot of mistakes. And then I think the last thing that's interesting is like, does Haas cover righties or lefties? I think they typically try to keep it pretty straight up, but Dane does so much of that ISO stuff. Like, what are you going to do on there? And then for Sask, like, how do you get enough shots through? That's basically a huge part of the game because no one's been able to figure that out. They've allowed like 16 goals in 3 playoff games or something like that. Buffalo has, and they got the bye week, which is massive because, as we know, just being friends with Paulie, they haven't had one in a long time. So, I will say, like, I'm actually sort of on the team. Maybe it's just because I'm an O guy that, like, I do think there needs to be a rule change with the guys in the crease. I think it is getting a little bit much. Maybe I'm saying that because Paulie's not on the podcast, but I'm not saying he's doing anything wrong because the rules are the rules. Like, you can only play the rules that are currently set up. But the other thing is, like, people are like, oh, why don't you just move the ball? Why don't you do this? The solutions all sound easier than they are. It's like because when you move, they move. They're players. That's the hard part. Is like they're not just. It's like, oh, they're selling out so that, and then also Vince plays so far back on his line because he knows the guys are going to block shots. So the backdoor stuff, like, that's the problem with the power play. It's like, oh, why don't you throw it backdoor? It's like, well, because he plays on the goal line. So, like, what are you going to do? So I'm not sure I have the answers, but you just got to you got to go quick release. You got to try to get it through at all costs over trying to hit corners. You just got to get them on, and you got to hope for the best, I think.
Yeah, and I think in the past, the way that you've seen that kind of broken in games, I think you obviously power play is an exception, but I think if you've got someone that can shoot from distance early in clocks and try to attack that way, it kind of throws them off the game because then they have to kind of press out to hands, and then that anchor is kind of in no man's land. So I think I think that's kind of, but again, it's like, do you want to flog on a goalie that's gone to the finals 10 times? I don't think that's part of the idea, especially if the defense can transition so quickly. But I agree in the sense that I think the easiest rule change is just like the defender can't be in the crease unless he's picking up the ball. And like if you're blocking it or whatever, or
there's some sort of a 3-second violation or whatnot. Again, not criticizing anyone. I think the best argument for it is like, okay, well, why doesn't everyone else do it? And like honestly, I think it's because
Nobody wants
I think Paulie is just like uniquely selfless and is just awesome at it. Like no one else really wants to do it. And there are other guys too. Like Lyers is good at it. Weiss is good at it. They all do it, right? They block a shit ton of shots. So Priolo does it. And it's been extremely effective for them. And so I'm not criticizing anyone. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if that's like part of the game really. But I also think that there's a chance that something bad happens at some point. And that obviously we don't want. So we'll see. We'll see.
Maybe we change the rule and just make all defenders wear the neck bibs, just in case they get hit in the throat. That would be an all-time look.
Yeah.
But it's at the end of the day, the way players and systems and things are getting better is when people start demanding rule changes. It's the same thing that happened in hockey. The goalies got too good and not enough goals were being scored, and then they started making changes to pads, and they were thinking about net size and all that stuff. So,
okay, so on that note, we chatted recently about how basically there's more super high scorers than there have been in the past, and Paulie was kind of talking about his brother Dan, and when he broke the assist record, which was I believe 78 at the time, that just felt like a ton of assists, and now. Like this year, Dane had 102 assists. So I went back and the what I'm kind of found was basically I don't really know what it is, but I kind of ruled some things out. And so let's start with scoring per game scoring. That is not up. In fact, last year 2024 was lower than the year before. 2022 was the lowest since 2011. So, and they're pretty consistent over time. The early 2000s were a little bit higher, but for the most part, it's been somewhere between like 10, basically 11 and 12. That's essentially the sweet spot in terms of goals for. I guess that's per team per game. So anyways, that's, so the result is, I don't find a significant thing in scoring. Then someone supposed to me that maybe it was when in 2014 for the 2014 season, they took out a roster spot. They went from a 20-man roster to what we have is a 19-man roster. And maybe, I think that pretty much all came on the offensive side of the ball. I think teams used to go 10-8. Now they go 10-7. Or some teams would also go 10-7 plus a fighter, which is interesting. That I think most people credit that with kind of taking the enforcer role out of the game. So and also 2014 was when we went to 18 games. So in 2013, before the roster reduction, there was 2 guys with 100 points. But that was 16 games. There would have been a few more of the 100 points. In 2014, there was 3. There's 100 points or more. 2015, 6. 2016, 7. 2017, there was 5. 2018, there was 4. 2019, there was 5. And then in 2022, there was 5 again. So from basically 2014 to 2022, with the same number of games, 18 games, there was somewhere between 3 to 7 guys going 100 points. For reasons I cannot explain, in 2023, there was 13 guys who did it. In 24, 12, and then this year there was 12 again. So something really has happened from 22 to 23. So it's not scoring, or it's not the number of games. It's not the roster size. At least not the data wouldn't suggest that. The only things I could think of is one is expansion generally made the league a little bit weaker and led to some higher scoring. But again, that's mostly just by the Stars, these guys scoring 100, because the scoring for the whole league doesn't seem to be that much different.
Yeah.
And then that's really all and then the other option is that there's just a uniquely set of talented players right now who are scoring that many points every game. And then the other idea is that there were a bunch of older goaltenders who retired. Maybe there's some argument there. Those all seem like pretty.
But all the average scoring is the same.
As far as I can tell, yeah, unless my math is wrong, which is possible, but yeah.
Two things I'm thinking. I think your first point is bang on with expansion. I think these teams were so stacked that there was guys that were maybe a number two with playing with an old I think right away my mind goes to like Westberg playing with Curtis Dixon in Calgary, and then
or Connor Fields
or Fieldsy, and then
MVP.
you separate those things out and give those guys an opportunity, and then they become a one on a team that now these teams are basically built with like a ball carrier on each side, and then a 2 that sets picks, and a 3 that just you better fucking score a couple goals here and there, and then you'll stick around. The other thing I think that would be interesting to look into is scoring is obviously similar, but I would be interested to see the percentage that are power play goals from against before, because if you're on a power play and you're the one, you're at the top, you're likely getting an assist on every power play goal. So that would, I think, or scoring it. So
yep.
I think that might be something that we could look into to figure it out. But at the same time, I think the third option is these guys are just getting better and better and better. They're playing every day.
The best guys are super elite, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no question. There's no question with 2 guys going 134 points this year, and I think isn't the record 135? I think it's right at 136. So yeah, there's a lot of things that kind of go into it. I think it's expansion, and with what you said, with more guys getting to be the one, and you're having more teams, so the leading scorer on the team has a better chance to get to 100. But I think that's the best theory that I can really come up with.
Yeah, I think I agree, and it's an interesting thing though. Like at the end of the day, it's like we said, the best players are now getting paid a lot more money and are doing it full time, have their stick in their hand.
Yep.
And that separation between those guys and somebody that's coming directly to practice from an office, that's different. So I think we'll continue to see it move that way.
Yeah, and then the only other thing is like, has there been some difference in the officiating that has allowed the game to open up? But again, as far as I can tell, the average scoring hasn't gone up that much. So, I can't think that I don't think this is the NBA where stars get officiated that differently. Maybe a little bit, but I don't think like a shift that noticeable.
It's still like it goes back to like there isn't more goals. So
yeah,
how is the concentration of points going towards more, like less people? I don't know.
The thing I think is crazy is like the monster game too. Like that I think is like anecdotally that feels like it's gone up. Even in junior, like I don't know how many sock tricks there were this year, the NLL, but there was like a lot, and it's like that's a crazy number. Like 6 goals in a game is absurd because you figure once you get to 4, you try to lock the guy off or what have you. And then like guys like Dane, like to get to 102 assists, you have to average I think you average, I guess, over 6 a game, but he had routinely like 10 assists in a game. Like that kind of feels new. The monster game.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to explain that one.
No, and there isn't any other explanation other than shoot to get hot, shoot to stay hot, and that confidence is a drug, man. It's like Dane Dobbie had 8 goals in the second half, including the overtime winner in a game this year. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here? That's insane, man.
Right.
I think I had 5 goals the last season I played. He had 8 in a half of lacrosse. It's like these guys are just on a different level of being, and it's like once a guy gets hot, you start to see this more too. In the Stars, man, it's palpable how good they are once they score a goal early. Josh Byrne and Andrew Q are 2 guys that pop in my mind that like anytime they would score one early, you're like, fuck, they're getting 5. And it happens routinely with these studs that they just keep putting up insane numbers. But we might have to send this study over to McKinsey or something to really look to figuring this out. But I think my initial thought is the power play thing. But I could be wrong with you.
Yeah, the scoring early thing, by the way, is super interesting. I don't know if I've talked about it in the podcast. I'm not afraid to admit it, but I started working with a sports psych this year, just to
Yeah.
help me work through some of the things. And one of the things like we worked on a lot was like how to basically manage mentally when I don't score early. Because for me, that's a huge, that's it. Or like score or like make a good assist, like make a big play early.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me, I found that was a huge indicator. Like after certain games, it'd be like, oh, you feel good out there? Yep. Why? It's like, well, I scored early and then I was fine after that. And
Yeah.
it's interesting. And when you look to the finals too, it's like hyper aware of the best guys early, try to not let them get going. As I've said a few times on this podcast, my career goal is for when someone's doing a podcast about our era, for them to say that Donnie was doing his thing, because that's like the sickest thing people say about old games on this is like, that was when Junior was doing his thing. That was when Dan Dawson was doing his thing. And it's like, I feel like we've heard that so many times in the podcast, that's just like a sick, like that's their way of saying like, that's when he was like controlling the game basically.
Yeah.
And, I have a long way to go to reaching that, but that's I think what you're talking about. These guys score early and then they're doing their thing from there.
Yeah. No kidding. And it's just like, the shooting, like Byrne is one of the best to watch do it, man. When it's when he scores early and then he just starts doing the shake and just throwing deep shots to top corners. It's a fun thing. It's a fun thing to watch that ball come off the net after it sticks it. But there's I guess, I mean, outside of that, we're pretty excited to see these finals come together. Summer ball's kicking off. We got some guys in new uniforms. I saw Rosie in the Peterborough Lakers uniform, which is a really weird sight to see. But it's going to be an interesting summer, man. That nation's team is ridiculous. It's like I don't
it's one of the best lacrosse teams pretty much ever assembled.
Yeah. I don't know. I gotta check in with my buddy Colsey. I don't know if he's playing or not, because I know he's living now down south. So I would imagine no. But does that mean he's open for a PLL return? Who knows?
Oh, wow! Didn't even think about that angle.
Hey, PLL GMs, I'll be your scout if you need a guy. But yeah, I think that'd be a hell of a player to add. But anything else you wanted to go through, Don?
I don't think so. Do we have anything else in those? I don't think we have anything else in those notes.
No. I think that's pretty well it. We're watching some playoff hockey here too. Deep sadness. Had one of the funniest laughs, like out loud public laughs I've had in a while. When old Marnsey decided to do a spinorama backhand up the middle and then forget to back check, and his guy scored. I was like, I don't know if I've ever seen like instant gratification horrible play, but
it's he's got to read the room a little bit more. It's like I don't necessarily condone Leaf fans always coming for your throat, but then you do stuff like that, it's kind of tough. So,
and I mean, again, it would be that would be an all-time way to be remembered as your last play at Scotiabank is you making that pizza right through the middle of the ice.
Feels like the first goal of this next game is unbelievably massive.
Oh, dude! Like nothing I've ever seen before.
If the Leafs don't score first, I mean,
people will turn their TVs off. I think. It was funny. We were watching the game over at like the bottom line, which is like pretty close to the arena, and people were all just saying that they were going to go steal Marner's car again and get everybody fired up. But it was a sad place at the end, man. But it's crazy how quickly things can turn around. So. What's going to happen. They're going to force 7 and then break our hearts in 7. But that's part of being a fan. But playoffs have been fun to watch. College
lacrosse playoffs tomorrow as well. So lots of good lacrosse action, lots of good coverage. Lacrosse Culture Daily did our college lacrosse podcast. Tons of great articles coming out. Well, I think they're great because I wrote them. And lots of good stuff.
Not biased. And you got to listen to that podcast. I've been enjoying listening to it because obviously I struggle sometimes following college lacrosse to watch it because I don't have 800 different streaming platforms or a pass to the Big Ten network
and a VPN.
You guys catch me up well, and I like listening to Dan rant on there. He's a funny guy. He's a funny guy.
We'll have to get him on here sometime.
Yeah, we should. In retrospect, we probably should have done that for this week, but. We can do it moving forward. Maybe in between. When is game 2? Do you know? Is it like
Game
every
two's
weekend?
No, game 2's Sunday in Sask.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sunday of the long weekend in Sask. That crowd could be nutty. Well, Buffaloes will be tonight too.
Yep, I think so.
But yeah, cool. Well, we want to give a shout out too to Lucky Penny Media, Cottage Springs as well. Get out, grab your springs. It's summertime, cottage season, if you will. And Kilo, drink Kilo. Go get some of that stuff. I don't know we don't know where you can get it yet, but it's coming.
Yep.
Official hydration partner of the NLL and Back of the Bird. But I think that pretty much does it for this week. We appreciate your guys' patience with a few weeks off there, but we're going to be back kind of giving you guys we'll come back and give you a follow-up. We could have a champion or we could have a week between game 3. So appreciate you guys listening. We'll chat with you soon.
Peace.